So the other company that shall remain nameless, another thing that I noticed a massive difference of what I was kind of brought into the industry knowing.
Yeah.
It was very tribal.
Yes.
It was very almost like a cult.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
And everybody outside of this cult is the enemy, right? And once I escaped the cult, and here's the thing, you escape it, and what does the cult do?
Yeah.
You're a bad person, and you're shunned, and they bring up rumors and lies and stuff about you that never even happened.
Yeah.
But when you escape it and you get in the outside of that sphere, and I learned this from Chris Payne, who's a buddy of mine that helps run the bank side. When we were going out and recruiting, he's collaborating with other lenders, other loan officers.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a cultural shock.
Yeah.
And instead of going out and be like, I mean, he was saying, hey, over here, here's what we got. And they're like, oh, man, that's pretty cool. Do you have it? He's like, no, we don't, man. I mean, I'll tell you what y'all got. Y'all's pretty cool. And it was very friendly. And that's what it was. It was friendships. Regardless, if you were on another team that I was, it was still friends. And there was tons of collaboration there, too.
Yeah.
And inside of our previous cult that we both worked at,
that wasn't allowed.
No,
at all.
No.
But you already know this, and everybody that's watching this knows this.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot to be said about people that have the abundance mentality to collaborate for the growth of the people, not just the business, right? Because if somebody is a fit for your program, I'm doing the client a disservice by not sending them there. Right. Not saying, hey, you know what? I know you want this, but you're really a fit for this. Talk to them if that's all. I didn't come back here.
Yeah.
So sorry I interrupted.
Yeah, because again, that one, it's a good place to cut your teeth, but mostly they're not going out. You and I, before we left, probably 2 years before we left, we were talking about we need to go out and get purchase business.
Yep.
We need to go out and network and get realtors and financial planners to refer us business.
Yeah.
And it was really false because it's like, here's our model. We're going to feed you with leads. You need to sit in your desk. You need to do 110 phone calls per day. You need to have 3.5 hours of call time. You need to follow the 7 steps of the first call, the 5 steps of the second call.
Everybody still remembers.
Yeah. Pay the cash tax term deferral, how to overcome objections. So it was like you're a robot. Yeah. And even to the point where I'd heard, I don't know if you heard this, they have cameras in there now.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
You know, I got moved. So the place we're speaking of was a massive building. Mm-hmm. And the teams were over here. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you remember where the lunchroom is, but there's a good 75 to 100 feet between the lunchroom and where the other people sat.
Yeah.
When I started migrating over to the purchase business, I got sat by the back door on the opposite side of the sales floor from everyone else. I was by the lunchroom.
Yeah.
So 2 good things happened from that. I was able to leave for meetings without anybody knowing I was there. And I got to the point where I realized I was leaving the cult. Mm-hmm. And I could see from outside the gate without actually leaving the gate quite yet. Yeah. So it almost was self-sabotaging. And here's the funny thing. I am still a competitive person by nature, right? Mm-hmm. So I go back and I have a couple buddies of mine that still work there. I'm like, what's your tough guy do? Last year. Man, he was Eagle Award winner, blah, 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 all this special stuff. 55 units.
Oh my goodness. That's 4 a month.
And I'm like, I did 4 times that by myself.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, it's definitely, but it's also a scarcity mindset because you think without you giving me food, I'm not going to eat. So I have to have more food. What do I have to do to appease you to get more food from you?
And I'm convinced that's the business model.
It absolutely is. Yeah. It has to be. So,
yeah, that's their business model. But again, it's like we said, it's a great place to cut your teeth and learn about the industry and get paid to learn about it. Yeah. It's like we're contemplating, we have a day trading course called Replace Your Dollar and some day traders, but we've got plenty of space out here and we're contemplating, we've got this company that will have you wear a helmet. This is getting really deep in the weeds. Yeah. But it's a helmet. I can't yet say the name because we're under NDA. But basically, this helmet is neurological and it can kind of dictate when you're in a state of flow. Wow. And when you're trading, so far, the trials have shown that you're 30% more profitable with this helmet on when you're trading than with it off, right? Yes. So we're contemplating putting them out in this cubicle and putting helmets on people and have them trade for us. Why I even brought up day trading, I don't know.
It's another road of success. It's all it is.
Yeah. But there was a reason for it.
Financial.
No. Fuck, I don't know. What was it? What were we talking about? He and I battle with this all the time.
Yeah. You're having teams, you're having quick, something to do. And the model, the business model, kind of the broke scarcity mentality of things. I think for me, the connection of the flow is like your mental clarity of looking outside the fence, looking in, saying, I belong here, not there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But anyways, check out Replace Your Dollar. We got a day trading course. Oh, I know what it was. It's a great place to cut your teeth because they pay you to learn.
Right.
So that's where I was going with that is Replace Your Dollar. We're contemplating partnering up with this where they actually pay our day traders to wear the helmet.
Oh, nice.
And they will also earn a commission based on how profitable they are as a day trader. But how many day traders are out there could actually get paid to learn how to day trade, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of relative to that. That's a great place to get paid to learn how to get into the mortgage industry. But once you've got a good grasp on it, it may be a good fit for you. And it may want to be something you have a long-standing career. I thought that too. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to move up the ranks and I'm going to have personal growth that leads to professional growth. Yeah. But back to the cultish mentality is the more personal growth I had, the more of a threat I became to the people above me. And it's like, okay, we need to start moving this guy out and get, But again, back to scarcity versus abundance mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. And the day trading thing, here's the great thing about that. Like, imagine being in a position where you have supplemental income based on the day trading. Yeah. You know, I day trade till 9:30 in the morning. I stop 9:30. I start my day. I go on doing what I'm doing, but I make a little bit.
Pretty ballsy of you to do it until 9:30 versus 8:30.
Well, I like to.
Dude, I bet that hour is like just
it's volatile,
touching cotton.
Where it is. It's volatile as can be. But here's the thing: my kids don't get on the bus during the school year until 8:12. And so I can't actively watch what's going on. And so then I arrive at my office at 8:30. Yeah. I've got my screens up and it's like, all right, let's rip. You know, and in a lot of cases, I know ahead of time what it is I'm looking at day trade anyway. Yeah. And so, whole nother topic. I know you're already aware of a lot of that stuff.
Well, on that topic, I'll share this because I don't know that I made it public, but I definitely put it in some of our Facebook groups. One of our head coaches had a incredible win 2 weeks ago. You've probably heard the headlines, NVIDIA. NVIDIA's a company, it's a microprocessor, AI. So they're very interconnected with AI. So anyways, he made a trade, 20 minutes to set up this trade. Now, I say 20 minutes to set up this trade. He's had all this education leading up to this moment, right? And how much do you think he made on one trade in one day and it took him 20 minutes?
180 grand.
500. Okay. 500 grand. Yeah. And in the world of day trading, there's people that make millions.
How much in, how much out?
Right. You know? So by himself, he made $500,000 on that single trade in one day. And they're like, okay, one hit wonder. Then the very next day, he made 44 grand on Meta. Yep. So day trading is very appealing to me because that doesn't require, no offense, Evan, a staff and payroll and all that stuff. It's like, if I could learn that skill set, that could forever pay. And day trading doesn't have to be this scary thing where you feel like you have to have a master's or PhD to learn day trading. Jeremy was a high school principal a year and a half ago, resigned. Fast forward, this dude has 4 or 5x his revenue from being a salaried principal up in Delaware to being a full-time day trader. But guess what? More importantly, he got back.
What's that?
All of the time.
All the time. That's the big. He paid for his salary in one day trade 5 times over.
Yes.
And freed up 5 years of what would have been 40 to 60 hours a week. I mean, imagine that. And here's the thing. Most of us can day trade and make enough income where the average consumer would thrive based on what you blow out, right? Now, there is risk. Don't get me wrong. There is, hey, you go in, you short something, it does really well, now you lose all that money. It happens, okay? But nothing comes without risk. But the good thing about risk is there's education behind the risk. You're not just blindly saying, I'll put 100,000 on black and spin the wheel and hope it turns. There's calculations and algorithms and certain patterns that you can follow that tell you, hey, this is what you need.
Have you ever used a prop account?
I have not. I currently use an AI account though.
I use ChatGPT all the time. People are like, I'll give you this secret too.
About the trade.
I know. But like, I wouldn't say now. I'd be lying if I said I still do 7 books a week. I'll try. But at one point I was in a rhythm where I was doing 7 to 10 books a week.
Reading or writing?
Well, here's my secret, right? No, not reading. I read at a 3rd grade level. So what I would do is download Blinkist. And I would, on Blinkist, you could get just about any book you want, right? So let's say it's How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? So it'll take that big book and condense it down into like what they call 5 blinks, which are 3-minute segments. And really it's a Cliff Notes version on Audible, right? So I'll do that, take notes, especially if I want to do content. That's where a lot of my content comes from. So secret is I'll just do Blinkist, and you want to know about a book, I'll just regurgitate some really cool information in the book and put it in little segments on here. There it goes again. Appreciate it. But on top of Blinkist, I'll use ChatGPT. So if I want something more granular, like if I'm sitting on a plane or something, or just, maybe a lot of times I'll do it in bed where I don't want to hear Audible because I got a baby in between me and the wife currently.
That sleeps for hours.
Co-blocker. But anyways, so instead of Audible, I'll do ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Cool story. I was in Dallas and there was a guy across the bar from me reading a book. So I started talking to him about the book. He's like, yeah, man, I'll send you a coupon code. You can get a credit on Amazon or Audible.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, don't worry about it. I said, I got to fly to Nashville. By the time I get to Nashville, I'll pretty much know 80% of what's in that book. He's like, damn, you a speed reader? I'm like, no. And he didn't know anything about ChatGPT.
Right.
So I did it in real time. I said, give me this book, and I forget what the name of the book was, in 1,500 words or less.
Wow.
Now rephrase it at a 7th grade level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I can read 1,500 words on a plane.
Oh, yeah.
And he's reading it, and he's like, damn, why not buy this book? I mean, it's pretty freaking accurate.
Well, and the thing is that most people don't realize, I've talked to agents, that they have no idea what chat GPT. I struggle. I was GPT. They have no idea what it does.
Right.
And it's doing something. It's erasing copywriters. No need for them anymore, right? Because I can put in, hey, write me a 200-word paragraph about replace your mortgage, or something like that, and they can go ahead and key it in and put it together. The fact of the matter is this technology is allowing us to educate and further ourselves mentally than we could without it, right? Because a book would normally take how long? An 8-hour book?
Right.
I mean, that's a week read for me.
Yeah. I'm a contributing author to another book, and I say contributing author because I've been a victim of somebody that didn't contribute to a book and said they called themselves an author.
Yeah.
But anyways, I am a contributing author, which means I'm writing one chapter of a book on entrepreneurism and the what's called, I don't even know the name of the book.
Yeah.
I will afterwards, and I'll put it in the link below. But anyways, it's really cool how they're gathering all these 15 business leaders and compiling a book together.
Yeah.
And what the way they're doing it is they hired this third party to kind of interview each of these business owners.
Nice.
And they'll transcribe it and put it on there. So anyways, I'm going through this interview and I'm talking to this guy and we're talking about ChatGPT.
Right.
And this was back in December. He didn't know anything about it. And I was like, oh, dude, you got to check this out because for what you do, he goes, man, the way you're describing it though, that's going to take my business. It's like, because essentially it's doing what I do. Yeah. I said, you're looking at it the wrong way. That's the scarcity mindset. How long is it taking you with all these 15 business leaders to compile this book? I mean, so far we're at a year-long process right now. We don't have the book done.
Yeah.
And it's all these meetings and whatnot. I said, really, what it could do is take all of that and condense it down into 4 hours, which means now you have all this other time to work with other clients. So it can make you more efficient. That's the abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset.
Right.
Now I want to get into cars because I know you're an aficionado of cars.
I drove one of my nice cars today.
Which one?
RSQ8. That's the twin turbo, 700 horsepower all-wheel drive monster. It looks like, I call it the man van.
That is fun.
It looks like, my neighbor's kid called it a minivan. He said, why can't you trade your Panamera for a minivan?
Yeah.
I was like, so I just laughed.
What's the electric version of the Panamera?
e-tron. Oh, that is Taycan.
Taycan. Those are pretty cool looking.
They're awesome looking cars.
Yeah.
The difficulty I found with it,
I can't see you being an electric guy.
No, the Taycan I do like though.
Yeah.
But what I found is I rented an e-tron up in Michigan one time and it was cold. And I sat at a gas station, right? A gas station of all places with this plug sitting in the side of the car that I couldn't figure out how to release for 45 minutes so I could drive 120 miles. And I missed every fun thing I could have done with my friends because I was sitting at a gas station pumping electricity in my car. So
I got a similar story. So Edmund was coming into town, so I rented him a Tesla. Old Turo. And so he and Paulie are going out doing their thing. They're not paying attention. If you know Edmund and Paulie, they're not paying attention to the charging, right? Yeah. All they're like, this thing can fly, this thing's fast, and they're going from bar to bar. They've left beer bottles in this guy's car. So anyways, they're not paying attention. So they drop it off at my house because I'm the one that rented it for them. Right. And then I'm going to go take it. And this was in October. So it was, if you know anything about Tennessee weather in October, it could be 80 degrees during the day. And then be 30 at night. So it's sitting in the driveway. It's like, it's got 60 miles. So I look it up like, okay, I can get it to the charging station in the morning and get it back to this guy. I wake up the next morning,
Yep.
2 miles. So I called this guy. I was like, all right, it's 2 miles. How do I plug this thing up to my house?
Yeah.
He's like, no, you can't do that. I was like, I'm looking, there's no like cable or anything. He's like, even if I had the cable, you would have to somehow hook it up to like the unit where your dryer goes or something.
Yeah.
He's like, and it would still take all day. And I was like, why in the world do people buy these things? I was like, doesn't have, I think it does have 4-wheel drive, but yeah, I was like, that's the part I can't get over.
Yeah.
So they're starting to look a lot cooler though. And the performance is nuts.
Interstate on the way here.
Yeah.
This Prius merges onto the interstate. Right next to it's a Tesla. And mentally, I'm like, old versus new, right?
Yeah.
Prius was the original EV car.
Yeah.
And the Tesla's sitting there, and it's just night and day difference.
Yeah.
They're not even in the same class. They're not even the same type of person driving each of them.
Yeah.
So, I can't stand the sound of them because they have no sound.
Yeah, no sound.
No exhaust.
Don't they pump some kind of
like there is a sound, and I believe it's so pedestrians can hear that as they approach.
Yeah.
So there is a sound, but I will tell you, my generation and generations prior will never get past the fact that you love the way a high horsepower vehicle sounds and smells.
Yeah, and where I live, there would be so many deer that would die because no sound. They wouldn't hear me coming. It would be a travesty to have an electric vehicle. But they're starting to look cooler. I just can't get past the fact that if I would, take one, I want to be able to go from here to Florida and not have to map out. Well, I've got a detour 20 miles over here to get a charging station. And all that will eventually change. I think where it'll get to the point in the future where every gas station probably has a few charging stations, at least in California. That will be they'll have to.
They already have.
Yeah. Austin. Actually, I was in Austin and San Antonio, and almost every Uber car was a Tesla because they have so many charging stations.
Well, and there's some financial leverage. So certain states provided additional financial leverage on taxes in order to have it, and I want to say Uber has a program specifically geared towards Tesla owners that allow them to have some type of extra additional income or write-up. There's something that's...
No, in San Antonio, Uber provides the Teslas, but the drivers have to rent it from Uber.
That's what it is.
At $2,000 a month.
But you're cash flowing it though. If you're making 4, cost 2,
and you're not stopping at the gas station, and
it might be worth it. Yeah, it's time value, whatever your time value.
Right. So you wrap your cars. So you only talked about the Audi RS8.
Yep.
Did I do that right? RSQ8. Oh, because the other one's
the SUV.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the other one's the sports car, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got a Cadillac Escalade. This is the thing in social media, because we don't talk as often as we have in the past, that I worry. It's like, man, he's doing really well. Man, he's got some really nice cars too. You got a Cadillac Escalade. Do you still have the Tundra?
I have a supercharged Tundra. So I got bored.
What is that?
I had a big one, right? I had the one with like 15 inches worth of lift on it.
The new ones look sick.
So I bought the final year of the whole body style. 2021 is the final year of it. And because I went from the 5.7 to the 5.7, I wanted something different. So I put a supercharger on it.
Oh my gosh.
500 horsepower, and it's lifted on 35.
6 miles to the gallon.
9.
Is it 9?
Everything your Tesla's doing, I'm erasing it. So
my F-150 was that way because the turbos and stuff on it, but I put a lift on it and had the bigger tires. And I have an F-350 Super Duty now, and I actually get better gas mileage on my Super Duty than I did on my F-150. I get, because it has the eco mode because it's my daily commute. I would never recommend something like that as a daily commute.
A big truck to commute.
I always park the furthest way away because I got a
Looking for a big, is it black?
Yeah.
I was looking for a big black truck.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it. It's probably just parked over there.
My wife will not drive it. And it's like a bus. I mean, the turning radius is terrible. But diesel, I get 19 miles to the gallon on it when I'm not towing or hauling anything. Where on the F-150, max 14 miles to the gallon.
And you can put a mobile home behind it and get 18.9 miles to the gallon.
I have one of those. Not 19, I get 10 or 11. So I got a 45-foot Heartland Cyclone 4006 because all last summer we were out traveling. No, summer before. Out traveling out west, Montana, Wyoming, and whatnot. But yeah, that's the reason why I got the dually. Dualies are ugly. I know there's ways to make them a little prettier. But
it's a big truck.
It is, and I still think they're ugly, and it's hideous.
Yeah.
So I broke down because I'm like, all right, I'm going to be in the mountains of Montana and Wyoming. And I was like, I really want a single axle. But everybody I talked to is like, man, pulling that kind of weight and that big of a rig.
Yeah.
You will thank us for getting a double axle. And that's what I did. But man, 840, because we have a farm. We've got a house here in Brentwood, but we also have a farm an hour outside of town in Hickman County.
Yeah.
Totally different types of people out there.
Oh, yeah.
I get you some moonshine. Outside of this, it's a different breed.
Yeah.
To the point where I think that they're inbreeding.
Have you ever watched, it's called something.
The Hills Have Eyes?
No. There's a YouTube channel. It's something white underbelly. Soft white underbelly. If you have never watched this, there's an inbred section of it. You will be mind blown. My buddy Jason told me about it. And he said, check this out. So I pull up I let it play idle on the side while I was working for a full day. Because, I mean, they had interviews with ex-hitmen and just all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's educational to the point, like, it's not educational. But you get what I'm saying. Check it out sometime.
Soft white underbelly.
It is amazing. He interviews these individuals. But one of the families is so inbred that his communication is literally clicks and different noises. That's how inbred he is.
That's terrible.
It was filmed in Hickman County. No, I'm just kidding.
It would not surprise me. Good people, but we got it out there. And I know where I was going with this. So that's an hour commute. So we'll spend half the week here in town, half the week out at the farm. But 840 on that side of 840 with a Super Duty that doesn't have airbags. It's rigid. Terrible. Yeah. My wife was 9.5 months pregnant, and every time we come on 840, she's like, I'm about to give birth. This is ridiculous. So I don't recommend it unless, I'm going to park it. So that leads us into the next topic, since you're into cars and wraps. I bought her a car because, again, we're too many of us. We can't fit in a normal SUV. So I got the Nissan NV passenger van.
Yep.
They're ugly, just like my dually is. And that's her car. She's like, look, if I want to drive this ugly thing, then we're going to do whatever we can to make it less ugly. Yeah. So we got it completely deleted, no chrome. Wanted a matte wrap, which was done. Bigger tires. We added the 4x4 conversion kit because they don't come from the manufacturer from Nissan with 4 drive. And then where the farm is,
you need it.
Yeah, I would say we need it. Yeah. Roof rack, ladder. It's really cool mom-mobile because now she's got, we haven't received it yet, 2 13-inch monitors in the back that can play different channels. Nice. And what's really cool for a mom is she's got a Fosgate sound system installed in it with a subwoofer underneath the driver's seat. So this thing's going to be bumping, man. So we had it wrapped. So we pay sight unseen. When I say sight unseen, they send us a picture of it, right? Like, cool, send it to this company. They're like, I said, from start to finish, we buy this, you get it customized, shipped to us. What are we talking about? They're like 2 weeks, right? Because it doesn't take maybe 1 day to put the sound system in, maybe 2 days to put the monitors in and whatnot. And so
4 days wrapped it.
And they kind of advertise themselves as we're one of the few places in the country where we can take this ugly vehicle and make it semi-attractive. Right. So dual exhaust, all this stuff that makes it redneck. Yeah. Things that she likes. Hence why she's married to me. So get a wrap, and we send a picture of what we want. And I'll show you guys too. And Evan, I can give this to you so that you can put it up on the screen. So on top is what we wanted. Yep. The bottom is what we got.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. You see what I'm talking about?
Did they pick the color? Because that looks like a battleship gray.
They sent that to us and said, do you like this? Because we said we want charcoal gray. Well, she does. I don't really care what it is. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that looks pretty good. We're like, here's the finished product.
What color is that from the factory? Yours, the one you bought?
Well, this is a wrap, so it's not from the factory.
But for the factory color, the factory base color.
It was silver.
Okay. The only reason why I ask is because they make a wrap called Stealth. That would have taken the black and made it look matte black while retaining the
I see. Underneath. Gotcha.
But, okay, so it's different color anyways.
Yeah. So completely different color. And now, although it's a Nissan, this is a $90,000 vehicle because of all the stuff that we've added to it.
Right.
And the wrap, I think, was $6,000 or $8,000.
Yep.
So the salesperson is doing a walk around video of the finished product before it gets shipped out. And I was like, I'm colorblind. I was like, that ain't the same color. He goes, send me the original picture. So I sent it to him. He goes, yeah, you're right. That's not the same color. So he's like, I'm going to have this sent back to the wrap company to have them rewrap it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, there goes the 2 weeks, right? Because we got the baby that hasn't been born yet, and we're going from a family of 6 to a family of 7. And it's like, okay, we don't want to have to crawl into a normal SUV anymore. So I'm kind of anxious to get this thing. So we think it's been sent to the wrap company to take the wrap off. He says it's in the process of having the wrap taken off. It's going to take a couple days because that's a tedious process. I've never done it personally, but that's what he says.
Right.
Then we got to put a wrap on.
Yep.
Like, okay. Well, a couple of weeks goes by. I'm calling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking him. He's like, man, I'm trying to get an answer too. I was like, where's it at? Is it over there? He's like, yeah, it's over there. It's like, okay, well, where's that in the process? They taking the wrap off, put the new one on. Where's my pictures?
Right.
I don't know. I'm still trying to get somebody on the phone. Escalate. I leave voicemails to the managers. This is Tim Daly, Nissan of Southtown in Jordan, Utah.
Yeah.
Now I throw that out there because the customer service sucks. So nobody knows. I'm leaving voicemails for supervisors. He is too. He's like, dude, I'm getting my client relations manager involved because we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Finally, somebody goes out there. Nothing. It hadn't been touched.
I hadn't touched it.
No, I hadn't touched it. Now, check out, and I'll get to the short story, this version. So now they're not going to do anything about it. I'm like, okay, well, I got an idea. Just refund me for the wrap.
Yeah.
And then send it to me, and I'll get it wrapped here.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do that either. Yeah. I'm like, you're lucky we're over the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. But I said, and I even threw this out there. Look, dude, I'm no novice to social media.
Right.
And I understand as a business how important A+ rating on Better Business Bureau is, Google reviews, Amazon reviews.
Yep.
I understand the importance of that, including dealer reviews. Because those, from what I understand, if you get a bad dealer review, that can impact how many more vehicles you get from Nissan.
And their supplier that supplies the wrap material for them.
Yeah.
You need to reach out to them and say, hey, your supplier that supplies and represents your company and your material, they have done this to me because they get pressure from that end.
No, that's true. That's a good point. So, yeah, last night he was just, this all happened last night. That's why I'm still fuming about it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do about it. And I said, all right, don't touch the vehicle. Ship it to me.
Yeah.
Right? If you nothing I can do, you can't escalate it further. You're not giving me my money back for a different color that you put on there.
Right.
He's like, well, we can remove it. I'm like, I trusted you to put it on there and put the right color on there.
Yeah.
And you screwed that up. So I'm not going to trust you to take it off.
Right.
So just ship me the vehicle. He goes, well, reach out to your salesperson. He can handle that. This is a manager, right?
Wow.
Now, you're basically a business owner, no different than me.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's your salesperson.
Right.
Why is it on me to reach out to the salesperson?
You should reach out to yourself.
You should be like, I apologize. I tried to get this. We, from an accounting standpoint, whatever it is, we can't refund you the money. We already spent it over there.
Right.
There's really no excuse, but whatever. I would just apologize.
Right.
Complete dick.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we're getting a vehicle that's wrapped a totally different color than what we asked for.
And there's a charge to pull that off, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure. Do you know what it is?
I know it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about switching. So the Audi RSQ8 is currently clear.
Yeah.
Called PPF. PPF is designed to deflect rocks. If rocks were to hit it, it should bounce off. It should self-heal. You should be good to go. And then I seen this Lamborghini that was stealth white, which is a matte type of PPF that goes onto it, protects the paint, looks really, really cool. And I said, hey, if we do this, what's that look like? And he said, I won't charge you to remove the existing PPF, which tells me it costs something and it's probably not cheap.
Yeah.
I would say you probably spend about 50% of what typical labor is on just the removal. Because now you're taking a sticker off, but you're taking a sticker off the whole car.
Yeah.
So that may end up being a big thorn in your side.
That's good news. Thanks for telling me.
No problem.
I kind of assumed that anyways. Yeah.
If they're willing to remove it, it's two-part. They remove it. You agree, hey, you guys take it off. You receive the vehicle. You find out there are razor blade lines and stuff on the paint, on the paint itself. You can now see that because they've left those marks by cutting and trimming and doing everything else. Now that's visual. I would say you can complain, but it doesn't sound like it gets you anywhere anyways.
Right.
So it doesn't do you any good, but at least it saves you the hassle of having to have that removed. That'll save you a couple $1,000.
Okay.
So
back to, now that we're kind of past the car thing, I want to go back to ajnashville.com. Are you allowed, because from what I see, an outsider looking in, I haven't talked to you about this off camera, you're building an audience, right? You're building a tribe around you. And on that website, are you allowed to compliantly say, okay, you want a mortgage, go here, but like you're into cars and you have other businesses and things, are you allowed to also advertise it on that website, or is there?
So on ajnashville.com, that is my consulting page. That page is owned by my consulting company. It's not a direct reflection on my mortgage company itself. Although if you did want some information about a mortgage, there is my Facebook. There is the Meet With Me. It's not officially mortgage related, but you can reach me some way, somehow through that.
There's a way to redirect from that.
Correct. So what we just got at here is, I'll cut the halfway short. It's owned by a separate entity, so the same rules don't apply, and I can prove that that's registered to that company, which removes the CFPB requirements and the NMLS requirements that typically apply for most mortgage websites.
Okay. Out of those new 82,000 IRS agents, you now just became a target. Actually, I don't know that that's going through, because I think part of this debt ceiling deal was not only cut, but the IRS can no longer hire.
Well, and that would be great.
Yeah.
But it would be great. So and you already know this, there's another element of that, which now means that 4506Ts and everything else take longer to process. And now we're going to get to almost year 3, and they're going to say, by the way, we're auditing you. And you're like, oh.
But the people that process 4506Ts don't have to carry a gun.
Well, do IRS agents have to carry?
Yeah.
Give me your money.
No, that was part of the requirement of them signing up, is you may be required to carry a gun and know how to use it, which is like a little alarming. It's like, dude, for taxation is theft in one part, but it's also voluntarily in another part. And it's like, you need guns? So if it was voluntary, why do you need a gun to force me?
Listen, in all fairness, if some of those old mobsters that tax evasion, they still exist. Maybe, but that's not the case anymore. You know who gets in trouble for tax evasion? People that make a lot of money. Yeah. And they have no interest in having a gun battle with people, right? No. And so just come and take my money. Right. They're going to do it anyways.
Yeah. They'll just siphon it right out of your bank account.
Yeah. They'll freeze it. I had a buddy of mine the other day. He reached out to me. He said, hey, I just had my accounts taken and wiped out. Forced something. Yeah. And they wiped all his money out of all of his accounts. Wow. Or with an individual bank. If you listen to this, there's a trick to the IRS. I know this from an IRS agent that knows a client. They'll say, and hey, are you still banking with SunTrust, correct? And you say, no, I don't bank with SunTrust. I bank with Wells Fargo. Write it down, seize the asset. Wow. And you think about it from a neurological response. If I say, do you still love the color blue? And you say, blue? No, I'm colorblind. I love black. Now I know your favorite color. Yeah. And that came just from a general statement or question. So interrogation. Yeah. I get it. That's all you need. Speaking of taxes, I was reading an article. This was several months ago. It just shows the ineptitude of people that are writing these articles. This was an article written by CNN. Well, that kind of comes with its territory. But I was getting old. It was talking about taxes, right? And on one side of the coin, they were talking about Donald Trump over here, who they now release his tax returns and look at his taxes like he didn't pay his fair share of taxes. Yeah. So on one side of the coin, they talk about how you've got this super successful multi-billionaire who's not paying his fair share of taxes. One, before we get into the other flip side of the coin, which was they were saying he's a lousy business person. Right. Well, let's just talk about where his billions come from. Yeah. Real estate. Absolutely. It's one of the biggest tax advantaged assets that you can have according to the IRS code. The IRS actually wants you to consume more real estate and do things with real estate. That's why there's so many, I would call them loopholes, but tax advantages in the IRS code. Yep. He's just taking advantage of that, for one. But then the article doesn't quite understand that. And then they also talk on this side of the coin about how he's a lousy business person. This multi-billionaire real estate developer is a lousy business person, and most of his businesses fail, right? Now, I'm no, big Trump fan. I'm not wearing a MAGA hat. Will I vote for him if he runs? Yeah. Did I vote for him? Yeah. Well, I don't mind being blunt about it because I don't like his personality. I really don't. People, talk about, oh, you like Trump? Like, I don't like Trump. But you said you voted for him. Yeah, because I can separate personality versus policy. Right. So, anyways, they're talking about how he's a lousy business person and most of his businesses fail. Yeah. Have you ever had a business that actually lost money and had to pay taxes on it? Not that I've had to pay taxes on. Thank you. So here's the thing, and I'll say this as a educational piece from a friend told me one time, right? Like I have a laser engraving company that we just started up not too long ago. My business partner, he's like, I'm trying to show positive. I'm like, now is the time to spend all the money on marketing that we can and do all these things that we can, because the IRS understands and allows for the loophole of that we're a startup company and we really have to get our name out there.
Right.
So if we're ending the year in a positive number, we probably didn't do our job, because we should be marketing and doing those things. And so that shelters other areas, right?
Speaking of which, what's the name of the company?
Dial Designs LLC.
Okay.
So dialdesignslc.com is the website. We do all kinds of, like, you name it, we can get it done. We've done photographs on the Stanley Tide Cups for Mother's Day. Amazing, amazing things. But what people don't understand is, like, that build up of the business. Yes, if as a loan officer you handed me your documentation and said, this is what my business did last year, I'm going to say, you failed. Yeah. You sucked. But I don't know that you have $100,000 worth of inventory and you did $50,000 in donations and marketing and everything else. Right. So to your point, a failed business, yes, on paper it probably looks very failed. Yeah. But in actuality, how does a person worth hundreds of thousands call a person worth billions a failure first? That's what I want to know first. And I'm not saying you have to be a billionaire.
Who are you to judge? Right.
Yeah. I can't judge that. Right. You know? And on the flip side of that, how do we deem success based on what's on paper for the loopholes that are allowed for us as business owners? If you're W-2 and you're showing a negative in your bank account, yes, you're probably doing a bad job of funding your money and doing the things that you're supposed to do. Right. If you're a self-employed business person and you're operating with your expense, and by the way, you're providing for hundreds of thousands of families, right? They are relying on you to be a lousy business owner so their children can eat every day. And that's what they're constituting as a lousy business owner.
Yeah, and you can't deny the stimulus to the economy that is produced out of all those, you just mentioned, all the people that are employed, that are W-2 employed, that don't have the tax advantages that you do, that have to pay into the Treasury. That's where the revenue from the Treasury comes from, is by boosting employment.
And inflation.
Yeah. So again, you got some Joe Schmo writing this article. And again, I'm not sitting here trying to defend Donald Trump. Well, I'll vote for him. I voted for him and I'll vote for him again. But you from a business perspective, you don't understand what you just wrote. You contradicted yourself because you don't understand the IRS tax code and you don't understand business in general to begin with.
No, it's crazy to imagine a person to have the authority to judge a person based on information they're not aware of.
Correct.
So,
All right. Well, I think we're at an hour, so we'll call it. Any business things you got going on or things that you want to get out there?
No, I mean, the biggest thing, you
need to come out with your own tequila. And scotch.
British tequila. It'll be in the same bottle. British Scotch tequila.
That's what proper 12 tastes like.
British Scotch tequila.
Yeah, I don't want to get sued by Conor McGregor, but have you had it?
No, I have not.
Oh my goodness! So I was a big Conor McGregor fan from Ireland and all that. And, who's not a fan?
Never guess who from Ireland.
Yeah. So he comes out with proper 12. Yeah. So we're at a bar in Dallas. And anyways, me and Byron were there talking. It's like, all right, it was hard to get because, he sold that company for $600 million because of his name and brand. Right. So like, all right, well, it was hard to find. And finally, this bar had it. Like, all right, well, let's try it. Absolute horse piss. Yeah. If I had to describe what it tasted like, if you were to take bourbon or whiskey and mix it with tequila.
But it's proof.
Terrible.
It's proof your name can make something extremely valuable as long as whatever you've done in the past is valuable enough to make.
And we've talked about it, how that's a business model is to, provide a service and do good providing that service, but also create a tribe and an audience. Yeah. And that's what these celebrities are doing. They create the audience because they're actors, actresses, or athletes, but where their massive paydays come from, use the example of Ryan Reynolds, Mint Mobile. He was 35, anywhere from 25 to 35% owner of Mint Mobile, and in sales to T-Mobile for $1.35 billion. So his stake in that made him more money than any of the movies or ventures he had done prior to that, but he was creating an audience. Then you take Casamigos, the tequila. It's actually good stuff too. The selling of that, that ain't Clooney, that's The Rock, isn't it?
I think it's The Rock. Yeah, it is The Rock.
And then Clooney does something else to do $1 billion. So, that's a business model now. Is let's take our sphere of influence and create these other businesses for massive exits.
And that falls into the branding category that you're talking about. The branding category is, hey, this is quality. How do I know it's quality? Because everything that comes out of that individual I like, I enjoy, and I follow. And so now you associate the two with quality. That's why the dollar amount. That's why you can sell it for what you sell it for. There's an assumption of quality based on that person's branding.
And to the point of branding, you have to be careful with what you're endorsing or partnering up with. So that's what we do. We have all these, now we've gotten to a point where we're attracting all these other like investment opportunities or companies. There's this one digital real estate. We spent probably 4 or 5 months vetting not only the company and the opportunity and the financials to see it doesn't have a track record of doing what they claim it will do, but also on the individuals that own it and doing background checks on them. The reason being is you got people out there that will just endorse something for a paycheck. And I mean, it's public news, so we can talk about it. Dave Ramsey endorsed this timeshare exit company. Now, he's being sued $150 million because of what that timeshare exit company did. Now, I'm no huge Dave Ramsey fan. I think it serves a place in society for the masses, but not the ones that want to be adults with their money. But if you want to learn budgeting, cool. Go through the baby steps. Nothing wrong with it. Put all your money in mutual funds. He literally said this recently, that he made all of his wealth on mutual funds and real estate.
And not the entertainment part of financial planning.
I don't remember Financial Peace University being free at my church.
Isn't his house like a mountain?
Yes, it's massive. And to say, and maybe it was just one of those things you're not thinking through. I do it all the time. There'll be things that I say like, well, hold up, that's not entirely true. I wasn't thinking of this at the moment. But then they make a reel out of it, and it's on Facebook or whatnot, saying 100% of his wealth came from mutual funds and real estate. I tell you, over the last couple of years, ain't nobody getting rich on mutual funds.
Not at all.
They're down average of 23% just last year, right? So anyways, all that to say, from a branding perspective, you have to heavily vet who you are getting in bed with, because I don't know that Dave Ramsey may not have known anything was wrong with what that timeshare exit company was doing. Now, they paid him $30 million to endorse them. But the claims were, is like, hey, we were recommended by Dave Ramsey because we're in a timeshare, use this company, pay this company $40,000 to get us out of a timeshare. They don't get them out of a timeshare and don't refund them the money. But yet he's being sued $150 million. And for the average person out there, anybody can sue anything for anything. It's whether or not it actually gets proved in court. I've been sued. And what reality was versus what eventually came out was the opposite. Well, I was actually being sued for something the person was doing.
And have you made it if you haven't been sued yet?
No, exactly. But just because he was sued $150 million does not mean that Dave Ramsey is going to pay $150 million.
Correct.
He may not pay a dime.
Well, but the headlines look good when you see that. So if you're trying to criticize, brutalize, take down somebody's reputation, it looks really good. Because mentally, most people will think, he just lost $150 million. He's nobody now. No, he's still something.
And again, not to defend the person, but he probably didn't do anything wrong or even know that any wrongdoing was done. But that's the issue with society that we live today is instead of everybody attacking the timeshare company or exit company that was doing the wrong and suing them, they're like, well, let's go a couple levels deep and see what kind of money we can get. Follow the money. And a bunch of freaking cowards.
No, I think in closing, the only thing I have to say is, we've known each other for a long time. We both, the fun thing is we've both grown, different potential levels, different places from where we were at one point. And it's always awesome to see the connection still lies there. And one of the things that I'm going to tell to everybody that's paying attention is, as you continue to grow, in some cases, your sphere has to change as well. But the good thing is we have people that are grassrooted, and you're growing at the same pace or at different paces, but you're able to give what I call a hand up versus a hand out. The opportunity to do that is rare. So you have to surround yourself with people that are thinking next level. That it's always talked about the average of 5, right? I use the thermostat analogy that if the room's 72 degrees and you need it to be warmer, you got to put higher people in the room. So it's interesting to see your journey continue. I remember us talking about replace your mortgage. I remember I was at Bella Historic, standing on the balcony when you and I were discussing it and seeing what we could. This would be a great analogy for you. Seeing a baby grow into an adult. Right. And so I have to say, that's one thing that I have to demonstrate to people that are listening, is like to watch you grow and to see where both of us once were to where we are in mindset, career, all those other things. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah.
And
we both had massive transformations.
Oh yeah. Huge. The good thing is, in a year from now, we're going to look back and be like, remember those guys?
Yeah.
And it's going to be next.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Always got to level up.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Click below if you'd like access to more. We're also going to have links to ajnashville.com and also the laserdetailingcompany.com. Take care. God bless.